So, what is the importance of active listening? Some things that might happen when we actively listen are we are going to have a better understanding of our relationships. We're going to form more trust, be more confident in telling people you are having relationships with that you could trust them and you could tell them stuff. Another thing that will happen is people will open up to you more. They'll really feel more confident in telling you things that they might not have before. And another thing they can do is help diffuse conflicts, because a lot of the time when we have conflict, it's because we're not listening to each other and we're not thinking about each other's side. So if we're actively listening, we can much better understand others' points.
So what happens when we don't actively listen leads to misunderstandings and poor and like just assumptions that when you're not actively listening and then you go back to actively listening in the middle of a conversation, you don't understand what's happening and you're just confused, and I don't know, there's just lots of misunderstandings, and then relationships can be hurt by this. People want to be listened to and it's important to them to be listened to, so it's not okay not to actively listen, and it can also cost a lot of money according to Witcher Business Journal or whatever, because of the leadership. And also, so continuing on with that is that there are many consequences of not listening with leadership. As a good leader, you need to be able to listen to those you serve, so you lose touch with those you serve. You're unable to, your customers, consumers, church members, whoever you're serving, if you don't show that you're listening, then they don't think that you care. You lose heart with those you lead. Listening builds trust and loyalty, and they're not going to trust you if you don't listen to them. And you miss the opportunity to impact change, and change is essential for leadership. And so if you're not able to listen to people they don't want to, you're not going to be able to change anything, and you lose your leadership voice because people don't like leaders that don't listen to them.
So the goal of our research is to observe how people active listening can impact conversation quality.
So how we did it was we took a couple of kids, like we take them into a room separately, and like normally Mara would try to actively listen to them. She'd engage them in a conversation, and then I would be the one that would be not listening to them. So I would kind of ignore and look away and stuff. But we would have the participants tell a story while we listened to them, and then we recorded it. And they were faced with both an active listener, Mara, and a non-active listener, which would be me. And then afterwards we had them describe their thoughts and how it all went for them.
So for our active listening, I was the one who listened, and it was kind of challenging to actively listen. Like I like listening to people, but I really had to focus on what they were saying, and I used a lot of body language and asked a lot of questions, and that really helped encourage the speaker. And I could see them more engaged, and they were smiling more, and they just wanted to talk to me about their favorite memory. Okay, so can you just describe like your favorite memory for me?
Okay, my favorite memory was when I went to Disneyland with my family.
Yeah.
Because we just got to see like different things and experience like these fun new adventures there. So it was really nice.
What was like the best like ride you went on or whatever?
I would have to say the Pirates of the Caribbean one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just because like the rides look so real and like the people look so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really nice.
Okay, that's cool.
My best memory is when I was a little kid. I asked Santa for a dog, and I got a like stuffed animal dog, and then I was like, yay, I guess. And then like 2 years later, I got another dog, like an actual dog.
Like a real dog?
Yeah, like a real dog.
Oh, so
and I was super happy.
So it just took 2 years.
Yeah.
For Santa to get your letter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's sad though that you got like.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed out. I was like asking my mom why I didn't get a dog.
And they buy you an animal one. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay, so I was a non-active listener, and so what I did was I'd have the participants, start describing something, start telling me a story, and I would kind of like look off different places, and I would try to just like not make eye contact. I would fidget, I'd like look at my nails, and I would just not pay attention to them. And I found that it was really interesting because they would just like what they were saying. They ended it a lot shorter. Like they wouldn't talk for as long, and then they just knew I wasn't engaged in the conversation. They didn't want to talk to me. Alright, so what is the most annoying habit that other people have? You want to describe it?
Oh, I think it's when they like to tap things. And they keep tapping, and you're just like, stop it, please. And then they keep tapping. And they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot you said not to do that. But yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what is the most annoying habit that other people have?
I don't know. Maybe like tapping on like the desk, like during a test, or like kicking something, like a chair. I don't really know.
So, some things we observed were body language. Their body language, they were more awkward and less. They had worse posture, I guess, when they weren't being listened to. They wanted to be smaller, I guess you could say. They lacked the motivation to continue. They just didn't want to keep talking. They felt like if you're not feeling listened to, you're not going to talk. The duration was significantly shorter, so they talked for a lot less time, and then the volume that they spoke at was a lot lower. They just got quiet and they were just kind of shut down. And so overall we observed that there was pretty negative reactions if we were not actively listening.